Tonight, our special coverage, the frantic search for survivors after the deadly tornado outbreak here in Kentucky. The new images of the devastation after some 60 reported tornadoes ripped across 9 states. Dozens killed and more than 100 still unaccounted for in Kentucky alone. Rescuers scouring the rubble, the damage stretching over 200 miles. A candle factory destroyed as employees work late to fill Christmas orders. Inside the hospital with survivors speaking out, saying they were told to keep working after the first storm alarm. The terrifying moments, workers falling into a vat of oil as they scrambled for shelter. Also, the Amazon collapsed warehouse that killed 6. The new federal investigation launched into the site, the stunning before and after images. And inside the small town where everybody has been affected by tragedy, our team all across the disaster zone. Also tonight, the grim milestones, the U.S. surpassing 800,000 COVID deaths and 50 million cases as the nation faces a possible winter surge. And the critical vote by the January 6th committee on holding former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows in contempt of Congress. The email Meadows allegedly sent the day before the attack, raising new questions.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Reporting tonight from Mayfield, Kentucky.
Good evening, everyone. What happened here Friday is a story of loss and salvation. These houses in downtown Mayfield, Kentucky, still standing, but they're all uninhabitable. In each, there were residents who hung on for dear life as everything around them was destroyed. The stories of survival fueling hope even as the death toll in Kentucky rises. We learned from the governor here today that at least 74 are dead, 109 still unaccounted for. We also know that Friday's onslaught involved as many as 60 tornadoes. Tonight, as crews try to erase the scars, carrying away the rubble where homes and businesses stood, those of us who are veterans of covering storm disasters struggle to find comparisons to this level of destruction and human loss. Maybe the simplest way to put it is children will be telling their children and grandchildren about that awful day in December 2021. Our reporters are across the region to tell these stories, but we'll start right here in Mayfield.
Tonight, a special edition of World News Tonight. Authorities here on the ground have now confirmed this is the deadliest tornado outbreak in more than a decade here in the U.S. Tonight, they are still not giving up hope. Rescuers digging through debris, looking for any signs of life. The devastation stretching for miles. Authorities still reaching towns and communities destroyed. More than 80 Americans killed in these tornadoes, many still missing tonight. Deadly twisters hitting here in Kentucky, Arkansas, Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee. Authorities say at least 8 dead at the Mayfield candle factory, several others still not accounted for. Tonight, for the first time, we hear from a survivor trapped at the very bottom of that twisted steel, describing the screams, the cries for help, and this evening, the remarkable story, the rescuers and what they did. How did he survive? Hospitals across the region already facing a COVID surge, now filled with victims from these tornadoes. Tonight, Kentucky's governor choking up as he revealed victims in his state range from 5 months old to 86 years old. Tonight, the National Weather Service now confirming one long-track tornado was on the ground for at least 128 miles, a stunning distance, and they continue to assess how far that path continued in other states. Tonight, FEMA teams now on the ground. President Biden comes to Kentucky on Wednesday. And we take you to the small town of Gilbertsville tonight. Population just 300. What we found, they're now trying to salvage any meaningful belongings they can find. All of this tonight as we now track another cross-country storm. Several feet of snow and high winds already. That system then sweeping east, potentially hitting the same region again. Meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all.
From ABC News, this is a special edition of World News Tonight with David Muir. Reporting tonight from Mayfield, Kentucky.
And good evening tonight from Kentucky, the epicenter of what authorities have now confirmed is the nation's deadliest tornado outbreak in more than a decade. Just look behind me here tonight. You can see home after home. This is actually somebody's living room. That's a fireplace there, now completely exposed to the outdoors. The home completely torn apart. Right behind it, massive trees coming down on the next home, also destroyed. And this is what you see in neighborhood after neighborhood here. Homes have been leveled. More than 40 reported tornadoes pummeling 9 states, leaving a path of destruction across more than 200 miles. Tonight, thousands of Americans are without homes, and at least 88 lives have been lost in 5 states, most of them right here in Kentucky, while many others are still unaccounted for. And so the search goes on. President Biden will visit on Wednesday, promising, quote, "We're going to be there as long as it takes to help." Our drone camera tonight capturing the damage right here in Mayfield, Kentucky, shattered homes and businesses all around us. The tornado that struck here on the ground at least 128 miles across Kentucky alone. You'll remember the image of that flattened candle factory, crews with heavy equipment sifting through the wreckage, dismantling what remains there. Crews also at the First Christian Church tonight, removing the rubble of those walls that stood for 100 years, that organ, before the tornado tore them down. In neighborhood after neighborhood across the storm zone, families are returning now to shattered homes, picking up the pieces, neighbors and strangers alike lending a hand. Tonight here, the faces of some of the loved ones who've been lost, including a Kentucky judge, a 94-year-old Korean War veteran at an Arkansas nursing home, and a 2-month-old baby. We have witnessed so much heartbreak over the last couple of days here, but also resilience, including one man's remarkable survival after being trapped for hours under the rubble at that candle factory. In fact, for the first time right here tonight, he's describing what it was like to be trapped 15 to 20 feet below, covered with twisted steel and glass, and what the rescuers did to get him out. He wanted the chance right here tonight to say thank you.
Tonight, heartache here in the heartland. The new information just coming in as the death toll rises and the number of missing surpasses 100 in what is one of the most devastating tornado outbreaks in U.S. history. An entire town flattened. Rescue workers comb through debris in a desperate search for survivors as entire towns are faced with uncertain futures. Unimaginable loss. The families reeling tonight. At least 7 kids among the victims. 2-month-old strapped into the car seat meant to keep her safe. Breaking news from that candle factory described as the backbone of Mayfield's last remaining employees who were unaccounted for have all been found. We have all the detail. Deadly warehouse collapse. The Amazon distribution center in Illinois.
It peeled the warehouse like a can.
And the breaking news about an OSHA investigation. And American Strong, how our country, a town that lost everything but its faith.
This is the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell, reporting to Mayfield, Kentucky.
Good evening, and thank you for. We're going to begin tonight from one of the hardest hit parts of the entire state. This tiny, close-knit community where every home, for as far as the eye can see, looks just like this one. The destruction is loss unfathomable. Tens of thousands are without heat, water, and it is only going to get worse with temperatures expected to dip below freezing by the end of the week. But for the many people we've met here, losing their homes is nothing compared to losing their loved ones. And today, the saddest news of all, the number of children taken in this tornado outbreak. States